What's going on, everybody? We are here today to talk about the spring practice, spring game, any recruiting that's going on. And we have the distinct pleasure of a wonderful guest that we're going to jump in on right now. But let's hit the intro first. Looking at the shifting over to the defensive side of the ball, anything that stood out defensively, this defensive line, I mean, loaded with talent. I saw Moten didn't practice. Did he not practice at all in the spring?
No, he was out,
Yeah.
had a boot on his left foot throughout the
So that's
spring.
probably still from the
Yep,
national championship right
100%,
back in
100%.
January. Wow. Do we even know what that injury was, or was a lower extremity? We don't even really
Yeah, he
know.
just had a boot on his left foot. I
Okay.
don't know the exact nature of it, but they're expecting big things out of him. But yeah, the defensive line, if that's
Yeah, that
the
was the
next
question. Like
topic.
the D line, like I've actually put out that I mean it could be a better D line than this past year. You may not have Bain and Mesidor, but it's a loaded defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing you say that, you speak more highly of him than I do. And that's just because of Bain and Mesidor. I mean, both of those guys were just excellent at pass rushing, excellent at
Yeah.
run stopping,
Mhm.
stopping the run. I think that's the biggest challenge for the defensive ends with this group. Yeah, they certainly have talent, Rudy. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't. And again, when I speak on these things, it's just the way I see it. And when I have these question marks, it's not that they can't be answered. It's not that they can't be delivered. We saw this defense last year really step up. I mean, we saw Keontae Scott. I know we're not
Yeah.
defensive line, but Scott and Thomas really take a huge step last
Yeah.
year. Really impactful players. But yeah, I think Damon Wilson, he's got to be good against the run. He can't just be a pass rushing specialist. These defensive tackles no longer have Bain and Mesidor. So Justin Scott, year 3, let's see, Armando Blunt, let's see how these guys do. Ahmad Moten, now is, he's no
Trying to
longer the
dominate.
guy. Yeah, it's no longer the guy like, hey, can he get into the rotation like he was for most of his career last year? The showing of the positive signs, the really impressive performances, the really impressive, football focus marks that he got all season long. As the year went on, I thought it felt like he was just even more productive. So yeah, can you stack it? How can you do even better than last year now that there's like even more of a focal point? So yeah, I think, and will these other guys, these rushers, will Hayden Lowe get back in the mix? Obviously, not knowing exactly what's going on with him. Mario Cristobal was asked about it twice during spring ball. I asked him one time, somebody asked about him again. He just kept saying he's going through some personal stuff, whatever that means. He just said that's all he would say. So that not transparency with that, but there's obviously something going on with Hayden. So we'll see if he can kind of get back in good graces, because he's a guy that I think I would have counted on him, being a really productive player, a really good player for this team. But now if he's not in the mix, or if it's more of a limited, whatever, if he just has to be reliable, and we'll see how that goes. But Marquise Lightfoot, again, he's been in the program. Can he take that next step? But good pass rusher, but stopping the run. Again, Booker Pickett, kind of similar situation. So I think all these guys, and I think it's important. But yeah, I think the defensive line, they definitely have pieces. They definitely have experience. That's good with Damon Wilson as well. He has that experience coming over 2 other stops. But yeah, I guess, Rudy, I'm curious, where do you think they're going to be better at, or what gives you? If I could throw it back to you, something. I mean, because you speak highly, you think they could be even better. So what is it that you're seeing or that you're thinking with this group?
Well, I'm not discounting obviously how great Ruben Bain was, or even Mesidor was. I mean, if you want to be completely transparent, I thought Mesidor was better than Bain last year, and I thought he was better than Bain. I thought he was more consistent throughout the season. Bain had some really big dip. I think Bain's peak was higher than Mesidor's peak, but I think he had dips where he kind of disappeared at times. I don't know if you saw that as well, but I thought there were times where he just wasn't there. And then as the season progressed, you saw that rise back up, and where he was just absolutely dominant. I thought Mesidor was fantastic. I think people forget that Mesidor is a grown man. I mean, he's 24. So he was a grown man football player. Um, so, but then I look at the defensive line, the defensive tackles. Ahmad Moten to me is the closest resemblance of of the havoc he was causing at the end of the season in from the defensive tackle spot. He didn't play that SMU game, or if I'm correct, right? He didn't play that game. I don't believe he played that game, and we lost that game, and I'm pretty sure he didn't play. Um, and that was when we had a whole bunch of guys out. But Ahmad Moten just seems to really bring that closest resemblance to me of gosh, I don't remember a defensive tackle that reminded me of him. He reminds me of Warren Sapp. And I know that's high praise. I'm not saying he's Warren Sapp, but his motor's crazy, his passion's crazy. His production, he was just causing havoc in the backfield to me. And the fact that he just, I don't give a damn about my ankle. I'm playing. Like, you're not stopping me from playing. That mentality is contagious to me. Now the other guys, you do have, when I looked at it, you do have legitimately five-star defensive linemen on this team, and there's expectations of being that type of player. So, you know, I don't know that we had the depth last year. I think we have more depth. It seems like now you're telling me Hayden Lowe, I guess he hasn't practiced all spring either. Basically,
He was out there. He was out there for the early portion of it. I don't remember exactly what practice,
yeah,
but he probably missed half.
That's concerning to me. That's concerning, obviously, because I would expect him as a 5-star last year, missing all of his freshman season due to injury. You want to see if this guy can get on the field. So that's a concern. But when you just look at the pure raw talent of the group, I'm not saying they're gonna be better, but I think the defense could be better because